I think we might have a big problem when it comes down to recommending TVs to people. Because right now, the S90C from Samsung stands to be one of the only TVs that I can recommend in that price bracket, unless you need a certain size. So 55-inch, 65-inch, 77-inch size TVs, that to me is a no-brainer recommend the S90C to people. And that is kind of a problem for LG, but it's also a problem for Samsung because they're sort of cannibalizing the QN90C in that way. But the people that don't really understand QD-OLED or know about QD-OLED, well, that's not going to really affect them, and they're going to think that the Samsung LCDs are probably the way to go, or the LG OLEDs are the way to go. And that's just not the case anymore. You have the LG C3 priced the same as the Samsung S90C, and that's just a big mismatch. And I don't really understand how anybody could recommend the C3 over the S90C with a straight face and smile about it. I personally couldn't do that to you guys. I think that it's a clear advantage to the S90C. It is a better TV overall than the C3. The S90C is a better TV overall than the QN90C. And like I said in my comparison video, I think the only way I could recommend the QN90C over the S90C is if you are in a bright room, you're afraid of burn-in, or you just need a bigger size. And I think the burn-in concerns, maybe they are warranted to a certain degree, but I have been using an OLED TV for a monitor, for a PC monitor, for about 2, maybe even 3 years, and I have no sign of burn-in whatsoever. And I edit in DaVinci Resolve hours and hours on the same layout, and there is no sign of burn-in. I play games on it as well, and there's no problem at all with that. So I do think like burn-in is something that is only really going to affect people who watch a lot of static logos all the time. Like I'm talking about leaving your news channels on, that is when it's really a problem. So I think the S90C in general is one of those situations where I can't personally find any other TV to recommend in that price bracket. It is a great price. Right now it's on sale, but I do expect it to maybe even go cheaper than what it is. And so if we're looking at the S90C and it gets as cheap as the C2 did during Black Friday last year, well then you got yourself a really insane bargain because that's an amazing price if it can get to that point. Now, will it get to that point? I do believe so because I think the C3 is going to be aggressive with its price cuts, and then I think the S90C is going to match it. This only helps consumers, and it's going to create a problem for LG. It's like, what is LG going to do next year? And I've thought about it for a long time, and I honestly have no idea. Well, most people say they'll just implement MLA technology and then they'll compete with QD-OLED in that price bracket. But I don't think that's going to be happening. I really don't see the C series getting the MLA technology. Now, I could be wrong, but I don't see it. I think it is going to be something they want to reserve for the G series to make you want to upgrade to the G series. But what C series has to do is it has to get cheaper. It has to undercut the S90C. I think it needs to come in at that QN85 price, somewhere around there. It has to be cheaper than the S90C, the QN90C, and the C3 this year. So that might sound a little confusing, but I think it just needs to come in cheaper than that price bracket. And overall, if it doesn't, then more and more people are going to hear about QD-OLED, and then they're going to lose sales to QD-OLED at that price bracket. It's just inevitable at this point. So I do think it is a problem for LG, and I wonder how they're going to address it. Now, when you're talking about comparing the S90C to even some of the best TVs on the market right now, the S95C and the G3, I honestly would just recommend you get the S90C over both of those TVs because of the price difference. And picture quality wise, there is not a huge difference. It's crazy how close it was to the S95C, and in game mode, I liked it better than the G3. Now, I like the G3 better than the S90C for pretty much everything but gaming because it can get brighter and it just feels like a more impactful HDR experience. But when it comes down to game mode, the S90C is definitely going to be better than the G3 in my eyes. And the S95C and the S90C in game mode, quite comparable. Honestly, not a huge difference. So if you're a gamer, you should probably be getting the S90C over those more expensive TVs, unless you just want that premium TV and you got money to blow. But if you're trying to save some money, it doesn't make sense not to get the S90C. So that's going to be my top recommendation all year long. And it's a no-brainer. It's one of those situations that is created where I am now looking at the S90C as that go-to TV. Much like I looked at the S95B last year and said that is the go-to TV. And no surprise this year, everybody loves QD-OLED. Like I've been trying to tell you guys, QD-OLED is going to take over the market. And that's just because it is such a great technology. It's like the best of both worlds, right? You're getting a lot of what you're getting with the LCD, but you're still getting the benefits of OLED. And that's QD-OLED in a nutshell, really. And that's the best way I can explain it to people who ask me, what's the difference between QD-OLED and OLED? And it's just going to be the brightness, the HDR impact, you're getting that. Where with some traditional WOLEDs, you are not getting that as much, say compared to an LCD TV. But if you compare a QD-OLED to an LCD TV, it's much closer in that HDR impact category. So yeah, I do believe that the S90C is the one that most people should get. Let me know what you guys think, and let me know if you like these type of videos where I go a little bit more off the top of the head with the discussion and just go off script and let you guys know what I think. So I like making these videos, and if you like these videos, please make sure you give them a thumbs up so I can make more of them. And if you want to see more about the S90C, I compared it to a lot of different TVs, and I got more comparisons coming with the S90C, but you can check one of those comparisons out right here.